The eye of the enemy is moving.
Come to Smeagol.
Not for ourselves.
The precious will be ours.
In the film's opening scene, two hobbits are fishing by a quiet river. One of them manages to hook a large fish, but he cannot pull it in and is dragged into the water. As he struggles in the pond, he notices a ring that has lain hidden there for hundreds of years, forgotten by the world. This ring is the same one later carried by Frodo. The hobbit retrieves the ring and climbs out of the water, unaware of its true power. Soon after, another hobbit appears. His name is Smeagol, later known as Gollum, who will one day follow Frodo on his journey. When Smeagol sees the ring, he becomes instantly obsessed with it and demands that it be given to him. His demand is refused, and tension quickly rises. A violent struggle follows, and Smeagol kills the other hobbit in a moment of madness. Because of this terrible crime, his people banish him and force him to live alone in a remote cave. There, Smeagol survives by eating raw fish and hiding from the light. As centuries pass, nearly 2,500 years later, he transforms completely into the twisted creature known as Gollum. The story then returns to the present, showing Gollum guiding Frodo and Sam along what he claims is the correct path. They are now close to Mordor, and Gollum once again battles his divided nature. His kinder side urges him not to harm them, while his darker side plans their deaths so he can reclaim the ring. He does not truly trust Frodo and intends to kill both hobbits during the journey. Sam overhears Gollum arguing with himself and becomes deeply suspicious. Sam attacks Gollum in anger, but Frodo stops him and insists that they cannot continue without Gollum's guidance. Reluctantly, Sam agrees. As they move on, Gollum tries to turn Frodo against Sam by suggesting that Sam secretly wants the ring for himself, planting doubt between the two friends. At the same time, Gandalf and his companions arrive at the place where Saruman is imprisoned by the forest. They encounter the same man who once used dark influence over the king. Through him, Saruman controlled the ruler and poisoned his mind. Gandalf demands that Saruman reveal what he knows. The king orders the man to leave Saruman and return to them, but Saruman claims the man as his servant. Suddenly, the man attacks Saruman and stabs him. At that moment, an elf shoots an arrow, striking the attacker. As Saruman falls, a heavy object crashes down and kills him. When Saruman dies, a mysterious orb slips into the water. A hobbit picks it up out of curiosity, but Gandalf quickly takes possession of it, sensing its danger. The group then departs from the ruins. Later that night, while everyone sleeps, the hobbit secretly steals the orb from Gandalf. As he holds it, he feels its strange and terrifying power. The orb belongs to Sauron and was used to communicate with Saruman. Gandalf awakens, takes the orb back, and the hobbit collapses. When he regains consciousness, Gandalf asks what he has seen. He describes a city in flames and the blazing eye of Sauron watching everything. The vision points to the city ruled by Aragorn. Sauron fears Aragorn because his ancestors once cut the ring from Sauron's hand in an ancient battle. Gandalf explains that Sauron's true goal is to prevent the peoples of Middle-earth from uniting against him. Gandalf then travels to the city seen in the vision. Its ruler is the father of Boromir and Faramir. He mourns Boromir deeply and shows little regard for Faramir, blaming him for his brother's death. When Gandalf warns him of the coming danger, the ruler refuses help and chooses pride over wisdom. Gandalf tells the hobbits that Sauron has gathered a massive army and is preparing to attack Gondor. He also warns that Sauron still hides one of his deadliest servants, the same shadow creature that once wounded Frodo and nearly killed him. Meanwhile, Frodo and Sam continue to follow Gollum toward Mordor. They reach a steep mountain filled with countless steps and must descend on the other side after climbing. Orc forces and Saruman's remaining troops are nearby, but they do not notice the hobbits as they move quietly. During the journey, Gollum secretly throws away their remaining bread and scatters the crumbs near Sam. When the food goes missing, Sam accuses Gollum of stealing it, increasing the tension between them. Sam strikes Gollum in frustration, while Frodo grows weaker with every step. The wound from the blade continues to drain his strength and wear down his spirit. Sam suggests that the ring is worsening Frodo's condition and asks to carry it for a short time to ease his burden. Frodo reacts sharply, pushes Sam away, and tells him to keep his distance, showing how deeply the ring has begun to control him. He orders Sam to turn back, and Sam feels deeply hurt by the command. Gollum quietly succeeds in setting his plan into motion. At the same time, the steward of Gondor stubbornly refuses to seek aid from the King of Rohan, convinced that Gondor must stand alone. Gandalf knows this choice will lead to ruin, so he signals that help must be summoned by lighting the ancient beacons. The fires blaze across the mountains, and preparations begin immediately. Late that night, as the group prepares to depart, Arwen's father arrives in haste. He reveals a grim truth. Arwen is fading as the shadow of darkness continues to spread across Middle-earth. As the darkness grows stronger, the power of the elves weakens, and Arwen's life slowly slips away. Aragorn is warned that his love for Arwen may cost him victory in the coming war. They remind him that the enemy's forces are far greater in number and strength, and mercy will not save them. Yet there are ancient powers hidden deep within the mountains that Aragorn could still call upon. Aragorn doubts they will answer his call. Arwen's father insists they will respond, but only if the true king of Gondor summons them. He then presents Aragorn with the reforged sword that once struck down Sauron himself. With this blade restored, Aragorn accepts his fate and sets out on a perilous journey through the mountains. No one has ever returned alive from that path. One of Aragorn's companions asks what reward could justify such a risk. An elf explains that the beings who dwell there are bound by dark magic. Long ago, they swore to aid the king of Gondor but betrayed their oath and fled. As punishment, their spirits were cursed to wander without rest until they fulfilled that promise. Aragorn must pass through the paths of the dead. As they enter, countless skulls line the passage, and the air grows cold and heavy. Their horses panic and flee in terror. A ghostly figure emerges from the shadows and demands to know who dares trespass. Aragorn steps forward and declares that he is the king of Gondor, commanding them to obey him. Without warning, skulls cascade from above, filling the passage with chaos. Only 3 manage to escape with their lives. When they finally emerge, they witness Sauron's armies advancing along the river. Many men have already sworn allegiance to Sauron, turning against their own kind and burning villages in their path. From the stone, a shadow speaks to Aragorn and vows that they will fight beside him when the time comes. Meanwhile, Sauron's forces launch a brutal assault on the city of Gondor. The steward loses all reason and sinks into despair. Believing his son Faramir to be dead, he orders a funeral pyre and prepares to burn him alive. Gandalf intervenes just in time and rescues Faramir from certain death. Outside the city walls, Sauron's vast army gathers, complete with massive war beasts and terrifying flying creatures that darken the sky. They appear impossible to defeat. At dawn, the King of Rohan arrives with his riders, charging into battle. His army suffers devastating losses against Sauron's monstrous war beasts. A dark rider descends from the skies and strikes down the King of Rohan, leaving the battlefield in despair. In that moment, the creature is slain by the king's niece, a young woman who disguised herself as a soldier and rode into battle in secret. The Dark Lord boasts that no man can kill him. She drives her blade into his face and declares that she is no man. The shadow finally falls. Elsewhere, Sauron's forces advancing by the river reach the battlefield. The orcs mockingly question why their allies are late. Suddenly, Aragorn arrives by ship with the army of the dead. A fierce battle erupts between the living and the cursed spirits. Fear spreads through Sauron's ranks, and victory ultimately belongs to humanity. However, the King of Rohan dies from his wounds. Both the rulers of Rohan and Gondor are now gone. After the battle, the King of the Dead appears before Aragorn and reminds him of their oath. Having fulfilled their promise, they ask to be released from their curse. Aragorn honors his word and sets their spirits free. The army of the dead fades away, vanishing into the air at last. Far away, Frodo continues his journey toward Mordor with Gollum as his guide. Sam discovers bread on the mountain path and grows suspicious of Gollum's betrayal. Realizing Frodo may be in danger, he turns back to find him. Frodo and Gollum reach a dark cave, and Gollum insists it is the only way forward. Inside, thick webs cover the walls, and the air feels heavy and foul. A giant spider emerges, intent on killing Frodo. Gollum plans to let the creature finish him so he can reclaim the ring. Frodo escapes the spider at first, but is attacked by Gollum soon after. During their struggle, Gollum falls from the mountainside. As Frodo draws closer to Mordor, the ring grows heavier, draining his strength and will. When he presses on alone, the spider returns, stings him, and he collapses. It wraps his body tightly in webs. Just before the creature can claim its prize, Sam arrives and charges forward. Sam encounters a giant spider and fights it fiercely in the dark tunnels. After a brutal struggle, the wounded creature retreats back to its lair, disappearing into the shadows. Sam rushes to Frodo and tries to wake him, but he cannot. Believing Frodo has died, Sam is overwhelmed with grief and collapses in despair. Soon after, two orcs arrive at the scene and capture Frodo, realizing he is still alive. Sam later regains consciousness and understands the truth too late. The orcs drag Frodo into a nearby tower and strip him of his clothes as a prisoner. Inside the tower, the orcs attempt to kill Frodo, arguing among themselves. Sam arrives just in time, kills the orcs one by one, and rescues Frodo. Frodo apologizes and says that everything is lost because the ring has been taken. Sam assures him that nothing has changed and that the ring is still safe. He explains that he believed Frodo was dead, so he carried the ring to protect it. Frodo accepts this and tells Sam that if he returns the ring, he will bear the burden again. They must reach Mordor, but the journey becomes even more dangerous. Tens of thousands of orcs march across the land, preparing for war. Gandalf is fully aware of this threat and chooses to lead an attack against Sauron's forces to draw their attention away. As Sauron's army moves toward the battlefield, their focus shifts, giving Frodo and Sam a narrow chance to move forward. To avoid detection, they disguise themselves as orc soldiers and continue their slow march toward Mount Doom. Their mission remains clear. They must destroy the ring. However, Frodo collapses from exhaustion along the way. He admits that he can no longer walk and feels completely drained. Sam refuses to abandon him. He lifts Frodo onto his back and carries him toward the mountain, step by step. At the same time, far away, the armies of men clash with Sauron's troops in a violent and desperate battle. As Frodo and Sam approach their goal, Gollum suddenly attacks them from behind. He intends to kill Frodo and reclaim the ring. Sam strikes Gollum with a stone, knocking him aside. A violent struggle breaks out between Sam and Gollum. During the chaos, Frodo slips away and enters the deep caves of Mordor. Inside, rivers of lava flow and the heat is unbearable. Frodo reaches the edge of the fire. Sam follows and begs him to throw the ring into the flames. Frodo refuses. He falls completely under the ring's power and declares, "The ring is mine," before placing it on his finger. Frodo vanishes from sight, and at that exact moment, Sauron senses the ring's presence inside Mount Doom. A flying creature from the battlefield soars toward the mountain. Frodo tries to escape, but Gollum follows him by tracking his footsteps in the ash. Gollum attacks Frodo and bites off the finger that bears the ring. He seizes the ring and celebrates with madness and joy, unaware of his fate. Frodo still struggles to reclaim the ring. At the same time, the human forces begin to overpower Sauron's army, pushing them back. Frodo and Gollum fight near the edge of the mountain, and both lose their balance. Frodo manages to cling to the cliff, while Gollum falls into the lava below, taking the ring with him. Sam pulls Frodo to safety, and the ring melts in the fire, returning to the place where it was forged. With the ring destroyed, Sauron's power collapses and his army is defeated. Evil is finally overcome across Middle-earth. Aragorn is crowned king and weds Arwen in a grand ceremony. When he stands before the four hobbits, they bow their heads, but the king tells them they never need to bow to anyone. Instead, all present honor the hobbits for their courage. After 13 months, the hobbits return home. Sam marries the woman he loves and begins a quiet life. Frodo remains in his land for 4 years and writes a book about his long journey. In the end, Frodo and his uncle Bilbo Baggins sail away from Middle-earth with the elves. Gandalf joins them. Before leaving, Frodo gives his book to Sam and tells him that his journey is not ending, but continuing beyond the shores, and with that the story ends here. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King shows that true strength comes from loyalty, sacrifice, and the courage to keep going even when the burden feels unbearable. It teaches that even the smallest people can change the fate of the world when they choose good over power.